Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be doing a trigger job on the Savage 93R 1717 HMR rifle. Hopefully you get some useful information out of this, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, starting off, here are some of the tools you're going to need. Just some standard Allen wrenches, or you can use like a 5-in-1 screwdriver. You're going to need a pick of some sort. I've got two different kinds here. A small flathead screwdriver, then some polishing stones. These are 400, 600, 900 grit. You can also use sandpaper if you don't have these, and then a Dremel of some sort to polish, and if you want to do any kind of grinding or anything like that, and obviously a rag or something. Okay, first step, guys, is going to take the stock off. Obviously we've already taken it off. It's just two bolts here that go into these studs, and that's what you're going to use the Allen wrench or the 5-in-1 screwdriver for. So we've already gotten that off. All the work we're going to be doing is right in here in the trigger group, of course. You've got 3 pins here. One holds the safety end, one holds the sear, and one holds the trigger. They're all held in by E-clips, so the first step is to remove these E-clips. And you gotta be careful on the other side. You've got a spring that is what keeps the safety under tension. So just be careful when you're taking these pins out that it doesn't go flying off, because it will do that. So we're gonna go ahead and take these E-clips off. And the way I like to do that is just take a pick or some kind of a small screwdriver. They probably make a tool for this, but I don't have it, so this is the best way I found. It's kind of a pain, but you're just gonna want to pull on the center part of it. Not the open side, but the closed side. And you're going to pull from the back and just kind of work it off the pin. And just be careful when you're pulling these off, they'll also fly off into every direction you can imagine. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in just a second. Alright guys, so this is the basic trigger mechanism in this rifle. You got the sear and the trigger, and just the way it sits in the gun is just like this right here, and obviously it's going to be pinned in place. And what happens when you pull the trigger is this little arm is going to swing down, and this spring is going to compress, so it's not going to let the sear go up anymore. The sear is going to be in the up position, and as you pull the trigger, it's going to pull the sear down and allow this hook to release the striker inside the bolt. So there's two things you can do. You can shorten the spring. You don't want to shorten it too much because it does have to have tension on it to allow the hammer to cock again whenever you work the bolt. So you gotta have enough tension just while it's sitting there so that it'll recock. So this is about as short as I would go. You maybe could cut half a coil more off this. Just be prepared to replace the spring. You could try experimenting with other light springs. Maybe if you had like a longer pin spring, that might work. So you're getting some of that tension from there. And then you're also getting it from just the contact point between the sear and the trigger here, where it has to push down on this spot right here to allow the sear to fall down out of the way. So what you can do is you can stone the sear. Actually, this sear came pretty polished and looks pretty good, and it's kind of hard to get up in there anyways. But the trigger, it's got a lot of contact surface on it. You can probably lengthen this down a little bit, sand it down some, and knock the edges off and just polish it up. And also what we're going to do is this trigger has got some nicks here on the back, and it's just pretty rough along the edges. We're going to break those edges down as well to make it a little bit smoother on the finger. Okay guys, as you just saw, we got done filing part of the trigger here, or stoning it rather, with the polishing stones. We just did the flat surface right here, where it touches the bottom of the sear, and that little nook. So now we're going to do the rounded edge here, that part, and then we're probably going to do the top as well. We just tried it with just the bottom polish, put it in the gun, made a big difference, definitely noticeable difference, so I think it's going to be a little bit more smoother when we do the rest of it here. So we're going to file a little bit more and see where we're at now. Okay, now guys, we got the trigger and the sear back in and all the pins. The last thing to put in is this spring, which just keeps the safety under tension and keeps these pins from walking in and out. So the best way to do this is take the sear pin, which is this one right here. You're going to pop it up. Remember, they're being held on the other side by the E-clips. So you take this, you're going to want to trap it with the safety, and then you're just going to grab this arm right here and swing it around over the trigger pin, push the trigger pin up, and there you go. Now it's snapped in place, and you've got a working safety. Alright guys, we're going to put it back in the gun and see what we got. Let me get the stock, and we'll do that now. Okay guys, we got the trigger group back in the gun here and the stock back on. It turned out pretty good. There's still a little bit of creep in it. This is a brand new factory gun, literally only been fired probably like 10 times when my relatives got it, and so I did the trigger job for them. I have another one of these guns, just same model, that I had done a trigger job on after I shot several hundred rounds through it, and all I did was clip the spring on it, the trigger spring, and it's real nice. So probably with some more wear it'll be even better. But just to show you guys how it turned out, from the factory it doesn't have much travel anyways. So I mean, you just rest your finger on there, and it's not too bad. It's still a little heavy, and you still feel a little bit. If you go slow with it, you can feel a little bit of the grit in it from where just the part's contacting, just because it's such a large contact area in there between the trigger and sear. So, but not too bad. Definitely worth doing. Just to recap what we did, polish and stone those surfaces on the sear we talked about, and on the trigger. And the critical thing, really the only thing you can mess up on this is if you bust out like a grinding wheel for on your Dremel to drill those contact surfaces. And don't clip the trigger spring too short, because if you clip it too short, it won't hold the sear up and won't let the bolt cock again. Which you could technically use it. All you have to do is hold the trigger forward while you cock it, but you don't want to do that. So, like I said, clip one coil off that spring, or maybe even half coil, and then try it. We did one coil and it was just right enough tension to hold the sear up. So some springs, they're going to be different gun to gun possibly. So, but yeah, it turned out pretty good. Hope you guys enjoyed it, got some useful information out of it, and we'll see you next time on the channel. Thanks for watching.